Hello, friends, and welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am your host, Tom Downey, and the 2020 NFL Draft is in the books, so you guys know what time it is. It's time to hand out some grades for the Dallas Cowboys for all of their picks this year. It was a great start. CeeDee Lamb went in round 1, Trevon Diggs in round 2, Neville Gallimore in round 3, Reggie Robinson then went in round 4. Then the Cowboys got aggressive. They traded a 5th and a future 5th to get into round 4 and take Tyler Biadasz, the center out of Wisconsin. Bradlee Anae, a late 5th-round pick. We'll talk a lot about him here. And then Ben DiNucci, the surprise quarterback pick out of James Madison. Now, we're going to hand out my grades here, both overall and for each of the players. But I want to make one thing clear. Here's how I grade picks. A, great. B, good. It's okay to get a B. C, average. D is bad. F, you might want to start firing the people in charge of whoever made those picks. So without further ado, I'm giving the Cowboys an A this year. This is one of my favorite drafts I've seen this team make in a very long time. Now, I wouldn't anticipate that it ends up being as good as that 2016 draft, but for where we sit right now with the information that we have, I absolutely love what the Dallas Cowboys did. They took 3 of my top 40 players. They got a potential starting center in Tyler Biadasz. Bradlee Anae was a great pick. In fact, the only pick that I did not like for the Dallas Cowboys came in round 7. And I've made it very clear many a time, there's no such thing as a bad 7th round pick. So that's my grade. Overall A. We'll break down each pick individually coming up. But I do want to hear from you guys. Grade the Cowboys draft. A, B, C, D, or F. I have been accused before of being a hater. You can go back and look at the Tristan Hill grade, for example, from last year. So this is unbiased when I say an A, but I do know what you guys think in the comments section. All right, let's go back to round 1. I couldn't believe he was there. CeeDee Lamb, my number 7 overall player. Straight A-plus grade. Not going to give out too many of those. I'm giving it to CeeDee Lamb, though. To get plus 10 value, pick 17, you get the number 7 overall player. My number 1 receiver. And reminder, I grade all of these before the draft begins. I loved getting CeeDee Lamb. I was so pumped the Cowboys took the best player on the board, a common theme throughout day 1, day 2, and day 3. Now you bring in Cooper, Gallup, and Lamb. Those guys are locked and loaded as your top 3 receivers, one of the best, if not the best, trio in the NFL when it comes to receivers. Figure out the rest of the depth chart. Maybe you can bring in some more UDFAs. We'll talk about them in a little bit as well. But I am all over the CeeDee Lamb pick. I love it. If you're like me, you probably want a CeeDee Lamb jersey. He might be wearing number 10. We'll see exactly what that number ends up being. You can check out Cowboys jerseys, including the rookie draft picks, at chatsports.com/Cowboys1. You can pre-order your CeeDee Lamb jersey right now. It's at chatsports.com/Cowboys1. And do not worry, I'll get that link in the comments and in the description. Round 2, Trevon Diggs. To put this in perspective, A, he was my number 27 overall player. B, he was a trade-down target for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I know I just said B, but it's an A grade for the Dallas Cowboys. Big fan of this one. I got some speed concerns. I think there are some potential red flags in terms of being reliable in coverage, but he was worthy of a late first-round pick. I had a straight second-round grade on him. I like this move for the Cowboys. As you'll see later on, they were looking for ball skills. The brother of Stefon Diggs absolutely has that one. I'm super curious how the cornerback depth chart ends up shaking out. You got 7 guys that are going to compete for 5 spots, 6 spots, plus you have Chris Westry, at least for now. You might end up cutting somebody here. Really intrigued by the moves that the Dallas Cowboys have made at corner. We'll talk about Robinson later on. Diggs, you are hoping, is a potential at least wide receiver 2 down the road. Dallas thought about him in round 1. They might have traded down for him had Lamb not been there. To get him in day 2, immense value. Got a whole bunch more picks to still get to, so I do want to know, what was your favorite Cowboys draft pick? I think CeeDee Lamb was mine. There were a lot of good picks that the Cowboys ended up making both on day 2 and day 3, so let me know what you guys think in the comments section. The Cowboys twice within their first 3 picks took the best player on the board for me. That never happens. I can't remember the last time the Cowboys actually did that. They did it with CeeDee Lamb. Then another Oklahoma player, Neville Gallimore out of Oklahoma. We'll see what this means long-term for the future of Trysten Hill. I'm thinking Timmy Jernigan type player. I'll take that guy in round 3 for the Dallas Cowboys. Still a little raw, needs some development, but I liked him more than Trysten Hill coming out. He was number 39 overall on my big board. Freak athlete. He can be solid against the run. Played at a position at Oklahoma. He's going to be a 3-tech in the NFL. That change will help him. I loved the value of Gallimore in round 3. That counts as a fatty only, by the way. Gerald McCoy, Dontari Poe, Neville Gallimore, Antoine Woods, Trysten Hill. Tell you what, that's not too bad of a top 5 when it comes to the defensive line rotation in terms of the tackle position. So a good move there by the Dallas Cowboys. 3 straight A grades to begin things here for me for the Dallas Cowboys. But now we're going to move on to the day 3 picks. Reggie Robinson, the cornerback out of Tulsa. Now, he was not my highest rated corner on the board, but if you were looking for an outside guy and you crossed off the medical issues for Bryce Hall, crossed him off your board, Robinson was next up. I had him down as a sleeper. I had a 4th round grade on him. He ended up going at pick number 123 overall, and this is why I gave this one at least a B, even though it wasn't my favorite pick out there. Reggie Robinson, 106 on my board. Yeah, that's some pretty solid value in the NFL draft. And guess what? Take a drink, folks. Ball skills, 13 pass breakups, 4 interceptions. Little too physical. I think he kind of got to work on some agility. He has a big jump coming up here. The technique needs some work, but this is a traits-based prospect that you absolutely take on day 3. Maybe he has a bit of a redshirt year behind Awuzie and Lewis, who might not be with this team for much longer after this upcoming season. He has, of course, to earn a job. Nothing guaranteed for a day 3 pick. But I like double dipping at corner, and I like that from the Dallas Cowboys for Robinson and, of course, for Trevon Diggs as well. The Cowboys then got aggressive in round 4. They traded up for Tyler Biadasz, the center out of Wisconsin. He's not Travis Frederick. Can I make that clear? He's not that caliber of player. He's actually kind of built like Joe Looney. A different player comp for you. How about Eric Wood? And former Bills, Louisville center. If you can get Eric Wood in round 4, you're feeling pretty good about that. I think he slid A. Wasn't as good this past year as he was previously, but he's a great run blocker. There are power issues. He thrived in that Wisconsin scheme. Had a hip injury and a shoulder surgery. Hip was in 2019, shoulder in 2018. I think that might have caused him to slide just a little bit. This is a good pick. Not a home run great pick relative to the rest, but I'm not going to complain about it. The Cowboys did give up a future 5th-round pick. Hopefully it is the last non-comp pick in the 5th round, but he will now compete with Joe Looney, Connor McGovern as well at center, and I think by going with Tyler Biadasz at center, even though he's not Frederick, it does allow you to keep McGovern at left guard and have him push in a Connor Williams coming off a better year, but also coming off an injury as well. And in just a reminder here, Tyler Biadasz was number 146 in terms of where he was actually taken. On my board, he was number 101. So once again, you got value for the Dallas Cowboys. There wasn't a single reach yet so far, as I'm a big, big fan, as you can tell, of this Dallas Cowboys draft. Now, let's guys in on a secret here. Coming up in a little bit later on, undrafted free agents, some of them already trickling in. We will get to those later on down the road. We will have a complete UDFA breakdown on the channel in the coming days, so stay tuned for that. If you want to know who these players are the Cowboys are signing as undrafted free agents, and heck, you just want the best Cowboys coverage out there, hit that big red button and subscribe. My favorite day 3 pick, really among just everybody out there, beyond just the Cowboys, Bradlee Anae. 3 times in this draft, the Cowboys took my number 1 player on the board. I am so hyped and surprised by it. Now, Anae slid because he's not a good athlete. But you know what? Sometimes you got to take the best player on the board, and you got to take the best just defensive end, edge rusher. Anae, not great athletic traits. His ceiling is a little bit lower, but he can be a good rotation guy. He can be an edge rusher opposite DeMarcus Lawrence. 10 tackles for loss and 7 sacks, not just this year, not just in 2018, but for 3 straight years. He might not be an athlete, folks, but he is going to be able to contribute to this team. The traits aren't great. The production was. I like the technique. He's going to compete for a role. He was a round 5 pick, so he's not guaranteed anything, but he will compete at a suddenly at least full in terms of name defensive end depth chart. DeMarcus Lawrence, Tyrone Crawford, Dorrance Armstrong. We'll see about Gregory and Alden Smith. Bradlee Anae in there too. I actually gave Anae a higher grade than I did Dorrance Armstrong when he was coming out. We'll see if Joe Jackson sticks around. Jalen Jelks was an IR stash. They got bodies there. The defensive end depth chart rotation, who makes the roster, going to be must-watch in training camp. So did the Cowboys win the draft? We're going to go through winners and losers on our main Chat Sports channel. I'll let you guys in on a secret. They did. I love what the Cowboys did this year. This is one of my favorite drafts across all of the NFL. I am typing in my yes. If you're typing in your no, kind of want to know why, because I'm a little bit perplexed and confused by it, but I love what Dallas did this year. The lone pick that I didn't really like was Ben DiNucci, because I will be honest with you, I didn't watch him. I didn't think he was going to get drafted. The production's pretty intriguing, 71%. Good athlete as well, can run, can move, has some ties to Mike McCarthy going way, way back, so I think this was a McCarthy-led pick. Wanted to get him because the Browns and Bears had expressed interest in him as a UDFA. Production's good. There's also James Madison. It had better be good. So I'm going to check out Ben DiNucci going forward tonight and Sunday and come back and check in here. I'm never going to give a pick lower than a C in round 7 because there's no such thing as a bad pick. He will compete with Cooper Rush, Clayton Thorson, to see who ends up being quarterback 2 and or quarterback 3 in the end. Did I love the Ben DiNucci pick? No. I would have much preferred Anthony Gordon, who signed with the Seahawks as a UDFA. But you know what? If the worst pick you made is a 7th rounder, you did something really, really good in the NFL draft. So, yeah, I'm not giving a great grade for Ben DiNucci. We'll see what I see when I go watch him from James Madison going forward. But I absolutely love what the Cowboys did this year in the 2020 NFL Draft. Hey, Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.